If you're into a shamanic lifestyle, then I'm going to share something with you that I'm going through in my personal life that you may want to consider giving a try for yourself. One of the scariest things that I've ever experienced in my, shamanic practices was this time when, back in, I don't know, 2015, 16, something like that. I went over to this shaman woman's house and I was sitting there and we were chatting and she's like, "Oh, I see you have a friend. Do you want to clear it?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Close your eyes and start breathing." And so I started to close my eyes, and the more I started to breathe, I felt goosebumps come over my body, and I felt the air in the room turn extremely cold. And the next thing I knew, this scream from right behind my ear, just this loud woman scream came right into my ear, and I felt this hand reach out of this portal and try to scratch me. And I didn't even have time to open up my eyes. I did like leapfrogged out of the chair, and I opened my eyes like as I was jumping to my feet, and I was expecting the shaman woman to have been standing behind me, being the one that was yelling at me, but she was still sitting there with her eyes closed. And I was just like, "Did you just scream in my ear?" And she's like, "No, now sit down and keep breathing." And so I kept breathing and I cleared this thing. But what I found out was it was actually an individual that wasn't pleased with me from a totally different lifetime, a past life. And so that's why doing things like this may be beneficial. So in 2015, I started working with shamans and I started to realize just how interesting and magical and strange this universe actually is. And one of the things that's been brought to my attention is that there is some individuals from past lives that are not pleased with me because of things I did in other lifetimes. And all they simply wanted was acknowledgement and, asking for forgiveness. And this was brought to my attention. And so yesterday, I started setting up this altar here. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I started setting up this altar yesterday to do a little bit of a ceremony and just, send a sincere apology. And the sky at night filled up as I was doing this with pink and blue clouds, and it was just this overwhelming sensation of balance being restored. And so, if you want to give this a try, simply leave some offerings and say to anyone in past lives that you've harmed that you are sorry, and just know that that acknowledgement actually goes a long way. It means a lot to these souls that are still holding on to resentment this whole time. So do a little, oops, sorry, apology ceremony, and just see how you feel. Just from me setting this up, I already feel so much lighter and happier. So give it a shot, the shaman lifestyle.